Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been probably about 2 weeks since I did a video. I've just taken a bit of a break. I've been kind of swamped with work and yeah, just been unable to make the time to do one of these. So we're gonna do a big video today. Come back with a bang. I'm gonna do a raid video. I still see a lot of clubs, especially in my cluster actually, that are really struggling with this raid. So I know I put out a video a while ago which showcased like eight or nine teams that could do big damage in the raid. So today I wanted to show you something similar to that video, except I'm gonna basically post teams that can do bigger runs, all within your roster. So before I start this video, and basically the reason I made this video was we need to just quickly analyze the raid itself. The raid has 19.3 million in health. Now what this means is on average per person in your cluster, if your cluster is in your club, if your club is full, you need to basically average on around 387k in damage, just under 400k. Let's just round it up to 400k in case your club isn't full. So in general, you need about 400k per person to get through this raid. Now this video today is going to showcase 5 teams that will do that damage and some, all in one raid basically. And I wanted to show you that yes, okay, I have a very good roster, it helps a lot, but you just need to be smart with that roster and analyze the phases that where your characters will maximize their damage potential. So I used 5 different teams here, and actually I had plenty more in the tank. It's just my club managed to get through the raid very, very quickly this time. But I have 5 teams here that managed to do the damage you need to at least per person for you all to kind of get over the line and complete the raid. So I'm going to jump into it. I actually have teams for each phase in this video. So before I start, please, if you haven't already, like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me immensely. I want to grow it. Thanks very much. Right, let's get into it. So the first team I want to showcase, and I actually do want to do a video on this team in general, is this Triton Beast team with the ducks. Now this isn't my invention actually. You can thank Stitch in the Forbidden Depths server, who I think it was Stitch who made this team or perfected it. This team is fantastic. It can get easily over 1 million damage in phase 1, and yeah, it makes use of Triton, Beast, Belle, Donald and Daisy. Now I actually want to do a video on this separately because there's quite a lot to this team to maximize its efficiency and damage, but for the purposes of this video, because this video will drag on if I go into too much detail, basically you want to have the team set up this way, with Triton in the middle, Donald and Beast at the back, so they're being called to assist, Daisy front right, hopefully she's going to be the one to die first, and then Belle front left. Now what's going to happen in the beginning is, well, for my purposes, I have Belle fastest, so Belle's going to take the first turn. She's going to basically call Beast to do his get out, and you're going to put Shaken on Glut. This is so important. You have to do this. Glut has to have Shaken on him before he takes a turn, because his first move is to purge, and when he purges with Shaken, he can't actually inflict any debuffs, which is massive, because his second move after Shaken is Frenzy, and with Frenzy he basically cuts through and he inflicts more debuffs depending on the debuffs on your characters. So let's just say Glut was able to inflict his debuffs when he purges, and then he goes and uses Frenzy. He's just going to cut through your team and just completely wipe them. So really, really important to actually first get Belle to use that move that inflicts Shaken. Then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to use basics until Glut takes a turn. Once Glut has taken a turn, this is when you can kind of get to work. You can use Triton's Prismatic Blessing. You're going to need 2 of them before he's going to start giving out Triton's Boon. You're going to want to taunt with Donald at the back, so you kind of draw the damage to Donald and Beast. And then with Daisy, you're going to want to use her heals up, which should give offense up to Beast behind her, so Beast obviously hits harder. Daisy's the one that you want to die first. It's really important with the kill order to get her to be the first one to go. Then in this video you'll see that I actually have Donald go next. That's okay because Belle is alive to call the assists in from Triton and Beast. Now, I struggled with this run for a long time because I couldn't actually figure out how to get over 1 million. Now, it all has to do with the placement of the cauldron. Now, I used to think that placing the cauldron at the back was the ideal situation. It's actually not. You're going to want to place the cauldron at the front next to Triton. Now, the reason you want to do this is if you're going to taunt with Donald at the back, Glut isn't going to frenzy and get through and, you know, basically get rid of the cauldron straight away. And the other thing is Belle can actually call the cauldron to assist. She has a tendency to call that middle spot to assist, which actually ends up calling the cauldron quite a lot to assist, which, you know, just feeds magic to the team. And then you can basically just see this just works out naturally really, really well. I only used the cauldron. I didn't use shadow. I wanted to save my shadow just for later phases, but for the most part, yeah, I used my cauldron. I used Splash Mountain Soak to decrease magic, because essentially this is what the raid is all about. It's about magic manipulation, turn meter manipulation, applying the right debuffs like slow and offense down. Those are 2 vital debuffs for this whole raid. I might do a basics, a beginner's guide to the raid, just to kind of emphasize the importance of certain debuffs. But yeah, slow, offense down. As you can see in this video, this is what I'm able to apply, and, you know, just keep extending slows and the offense down with Triton calling to assist. And yeah, it's just a, you know, a really, really effective team, and it does really well for me. So right, now moving on. So I actually wanted to use my Calhoun in phase 2, but unfortunately my club brought down the raid too fast. And usually it goes down much slower, but basically by the time I had a chance to do my runs in phase 2, we were down to 1 eel. So what team I used to kind of maximize the efficiency and damage against 1 eel was my Mythicals. Now I had a kind of a small variant here to this Mythical team. I used Miguel, Hades, Pain and Panic, and then Ursula and Dr. F. Now the reason I use Dr. F is he is great for, you know, being able to throw a taunt on random characters. So with Ursula there, I was able to throw a taunt on one of the eels, which actually stopped one of the insta kills for 1 turn. But the important thing is you know, he takes away the damage from characters you don't want them to get damaged. Now Hades is one of them. Hades is your damage dealer in this team. You can see this run was quite lucky because I managed to keep Hades alive all the way to the end, but I did lose Pain and Panic a little bit earlier than I'd hoped. But the aim here is to basically use Miguel to clean up all these horrible effects that Jetsam puts on the field, and effectively just to blast him with Hades, using that basic as much as possible. But you basically need Hades to be empowered, so that's fairly easy to do. Jetsam still packs quite a punch. He kills an eel in this video, which actually makes it much easier for me, because that death effectively put Hades into empowered, and then it's really about spamming that basic. Also, Hades Combust is great to use when you've seen that Jetsam has actually got quite a lot of continuous damage on him, so I used his combust at times when it was building that up. The spells I used here was hammer and mortal potion. Mortal potion is just to give a couple more continuous damage effects, and also hammer is obviously just to bring back someone. I think I brought back Ursula in this run, just to keep it going for a little bit longer, draw the attention away from Hades a little bit longer. And yeah, it's actually a really fun team to use as well. Using big damage dealers in this raid is always quite fun. Hades normally crits on that basic, and he can crit for 5 or 6k per hit. So yeah, it does a lot of damage, and as you can see, it's another 500k run, which is ultimately higher than what you need. You need an average of less than 400k. This run, one run with mythicals, and it doesn't necessarily need Ursula or Dr. F, but they added quite a bit in here, and was able to get that 500k run. So that's phase 2. There are lots more teams in phase 2 that I just didn't get to cover. I was actually trying to do a Calhoun video or a Calhoun run, but couldn't get the time to do it. So moving on into phase 3. Now phase 3 is a funny one because you can't last that long with Ursula. She's really fast and she just massively packs a punch. So in this phase, it's all about getting a lot of damage out early and trying to mitigate her big hits. Now, in this run, the team I use is Maui, Moana, Minnie, Mickey, and Herc. Now, you'll notice with many of these teams that there's kind of a bit of a running theme with them. The idea here is to have characters that will put offense down, Hercules, and characters that will slow. You've got Moana and Maui who can both slow, and then, as I said, you need to somehow withstand the damage. So I'm using Maui lead here to give that shield, give that added protection. The other thing about this phase is you want to basically do you want to kind of restart until you get a good contract. Now one of the best contracts by far is doing crit damage, and another really good one is inflicting harmful effects. When you complete this contract, it gives you crit power up and speed, and also puts vulnerable on Ursula, so your characters hit extremely hard. And this team is built around big damage dealers. You've got Hercules, Moana, and Stitch. I think I had said Minnie before. I use this team with Minnie as well, but Stitch here. And then you've got the supports like Mickey who can heal, and Maui who can taunt and take away the focus from your damage dealers. So this one, it's really, phase 3 is just about fulfilling contracts. Please, if you get the 30% health contract, just restart. It's not worth it. There's so few teams that can actually survive that contract, and it's instant death. As soon as you fail that contract, Ursula wipes the floor with everyone. So really important to make sure you wait for a good contract and to use characters that really help you in these phases. And this one is pure damage. Ursula hits you so hard. You really need to stop her from doing that, and by putting offense down and using characters like Hercules, Belle, even Chunk, he puts offense down. Those characters are going to be huge for these phases, because you're just going to be able to survive a little bit longer, because Ursula has a tendency just to wipe you very quickly in this phase. So in any case, that is this phase here. And moving on into this final phase. So phase 4 is easily the easiest phase. Like, you can pretty much unload in this phase. Now, there's so many different teams that can do a lot of damage, easily over that 400k mark. And a lot of teams where you can kind of just dump, and as long as you get Ursula's tentacles down before she takes a turn in that first in your first set of moves, you're gonna do a decent run anyway. You'll get over 100k run. So it really is about basically getting through that first bit with Ursula when she's got her tentacles up, because once you've got through that, you'll get guaranteed crits to your whole team. And if you put big damage dealers like Kingdom here, for example, with Shan Yu, other teams like Toy Story Villains who pack a punch, they're good in this phase for dumping. The team I'm going to show you today is actually a princess kind of mixed team. I used Rapunzel, I used Merida, I used Mulan. Now I don't have Pocahontas leveled up to a point where she's she's gear 7, but not as usable as other characters I have, so I didn't use her. And I've already used Belle and Beast, and my Jasmine isn't up either, so I subbed in Honey Lemon here for the slows, and I also subbed in Barley, so I could basically hopefully manipulate some turn meter with his Van, with his Guinevere ability. Doesn't really land that often when you don't have tactics, but I used Barley here for his Guinevere, and also for passing the book. You pass the book to Merida here, and she just absolutely whacks, packs a massive punch. The aim here really is to, I'm using my team again to manipulate as much as I can. Now, Honey Lemon is there because she reduces turn meter. She also applies slow. 2 turns slow. It means Ursula is always going to be slow. She's always going to be struggling to take turns. I'm using Merida and Mulan here because Merida hits so hard, and Mulan has a chance to assist other princesses. So she's constantly doing attacks, doing damage. She also gives herself tactics. If you haven't seen my princess video, go check it out. It's amazing. It's an amazing faction, and these two characters here, Mulan and Merida, hit so hard, do such great things for princesses. Mulan is going to reduce turn meter on that basic when she has the follow-up attack, which is huge. You can keep Ursula from taking a turn just that little bit longer. So I use Merida. I basically charge her up to get to empowered with all the wisps, and then I unload with one of her special attacks on Ursula, the one that applies a continuous damage, I think, and using Barley just to kind of boost her up, boost her damage output up. And Rapunzel, she's the leader. She's given offense up. She's given offense. She's given speed, and she's also gonna heal, it comes in clutch at times. She's gonna revert all of the negative effects that Ursula can put down on the team. It's about managing the interactions of the raid. So that's this team here. It manages to get another plus 500k run. And the last team I want to talk about is going to be Calhoun. The Calhoun effect is still alive. Let's just appreciate it for whilst it still lasts. You can effectively put up evades on the beacon, which means perma-taunt, and Ursula will never take a turn. It is doable from phase 2. If you haven't seen Default Dan's video already about soloing phases 1, phase 2, he thinks he can solo the whole raid, go check it out. But basically, Calhoun is still alive. You can still do great things with her. You can still solo phases 2. You can still do solo phase 4 as well. And the idea here is, it's really actually easy in phase 4, is you just get at least 1 or 2 evades on the beacon before Ursula takes a turn. She isn't going to be able to purge, and so you're never going to actually take an insta kill. So in this video, in this run, I'm just using kind of the rest of what I've got. I've got Baymax here to kind of cleanse and put patient on characters. he doesn't really do much. I let him die in this video. Bubbles is there to apply slow. As I said, slow is really important, and also manipulate turn meter with his stare down. And then you've got Calhoun, obviously, for the beacon, and Elsa's just going to be your damage dealer. As I say, this run isn't anything special because it was right at the end of the raid and you had 2% left with it, but you can see what you can do with this team. We would have soloed the whole phase. So yeah, as you can see, there's many teams here that can do big numbers in the raid. It really is about manipulating the teams to your advantage, putting characters together which synergize or do stuff which is able to have a positive impact on the raid. So what I mean by that is characters that slow, characters that manipulate turn meter, magic reduction, characters that give magic, the cauldron, hammer, making use of the spells that matter in the raid, shadow. There's just so much in your arsenal that you can use, and it really is about maximizing the use of your characters. Now, people with smaller rosters, I understand the difficulties of it. I sympathize. When you get to heroic, you have so many. You can just restart as many times as you want. Please take advantage of that. It's really important to just keep restarting until you get a good run. It's so important. And it's hard, as I say, it's a little bit harder to gauge whether you've done a good run. I usually use the bars of the raid bosses to kind of gather where. I'm not quite sure how much each bar is, but a couple of bars and I normally feel comfortable with the run. So yeah, I hope this video was helpful. As I said before, right at the start of the video, please like and subscribe for more content. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. If I'm hoping to showcase more teams, do more in-depth analysis, but this for the most part is a video to show you that there are more than 1 or 2 teams that can do plus 400k damage in a single raid. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.